What you're looking at right now is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You probably already knew that because of the title of this video, or you've played the game before, or at least heard about it in some capacity. The Legend of Zelda series has been around for a long time, but I myself never really got into them. I played Ocarina of Time on the N64 and even played it on the 3DS, but it never fully captured my attention until Breath of the Wild. But why is Breath of the Wild different? Well, for me there's one simple answer to that, and that is that Breath of the Wild gives you the freedom to do whatever you want. But what do I mean by that? Well, it's literally what I said. At the beginning of Breath of the Wild, you're given the tools for you to begin your journey, and then you're pushed out the door into a huge open world that lets you explore it however you want. Yes, you're given 4 map markers directing you to main quests, but there's no red or yellow line on your minimap telling you how to get there. You have to find your own way. In fact, you can turn those map markers off completely, which I recommend doing. But why is this so special? Well, there's a common trend in video games recently where the game will point you in a direction you need to go to the next mission. The most notable of these are in Red Dead Redemption 2 or The Witcher 3. Both these games have set quest icons on your map, and will have a line leading you to that quest. The downside of this is you end up spending most of your time looking at the map on the corner of your screen instead of taking in the game world. And this is detrimental to these games. Take Red Dead 2 for example. If I ride from A to B, I'll most likely not go and explore the interesting places along my travels, unless I specifically stop my horse and go exploring. Most of the time these games end up having me go from mission to mission, and even if they make me feel like I've seen most of the open world, I actually haven't. I've only experienced them in a mission or a side quest. And that's a shame, because these worlds have been crafted so you can explore them, but you'll end up missing all the stuff because of the way missions are presented to you. Breath of the Wild doesn't do this. You're free to explore Hyrule however you want. You can even go try and fight something Ganon right at the start of the game, and with the correct tools you can actually win that fight. This is why Breath of the Wild stands out from other open world games. No, I'm not saying that Red Dead 2 or The Witcher 3 are terrible games, they are amazing at what they do. But Breath of the Wild is a true open world game, and I've only just brushed the surface of what it has to offer. When it comes to storytelling, Breath of the Wild does it differently. Unlike most Western open world games where the story is given to you through lots of cutscenes and dialogue, Breath of the Wild has very minimal cutscenes. In fact, you can outright skip all of them if you want to. They're given to you as an optional quest. You're only given a picture of each place where you can get the flashback and trigger the cutscene. Again, there's no map markers or indicators of where you need to go, you just need to explore the open world and find them for yourself. In fact, there is a painter who will be standing in different stables throughout Hyrule, who will point you in the general direction of the spot in the picture, but instead of outright pointing it out on your map, he will say things like, that spot is either southwest of so-and-so lake and east of so-and-so mountain. It's now up to you to use this information to find the location. But each location has a different flashback, so each player will get the story differently and in a different order. What I find so great about this is that it's up to the player to piece together the story, or to not bother with the story at all. Of course, this doesn't work with games such as Red Dead or The Witcher 3, but it's still a refreshing way to go about telling a story. It doesn't hinder the gameplay in any way. Speaking of gameplay, Breath of the Wild is one of the only games I've ever played that allows you to experiment with how you want to play. But what do I mean by that? Well, firstly, you're not obstructed in any way to the world around you. If you want to climb that mountain, you can. If you want to scale that wall, you can. There are no limits to how you want to interact with the world. The only restrictions are how much stamina Link currently has, or if it's raining. Damn you, rain. This also applies to the combat. Combat in Breath of the Wild is simple. You can dodge, block, parry, normal attack, and heavy attack. But it doesn't have to be that simple. You can charge up a large object and blast it at enemies. You can use a fire arrow to light up the grass around an enemy camp, then hit them into the flames. You can pick up a metallic object and drop them on their heads, or you can throw a cuckoo at them and have them mauled to death. They have endless possibilities to how you can defeat enemies. I've never had so much freedom while being in combat before, it's exhilarating. Plus, unlike newer open world games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which shows enemy bases on your map, Breath of the Wild doesn't show where enemy camps are placed, leaving it up to you to remember where they are. I think that's why Breath of the Wild resonates with me so much. After playing hundreds of hours in other open world games, I didn't realise how much games were blocking me from doing the things I wanted to do. Take Assassin's Creed Odyssey. You can climb practically anything in the game, but your character never gets tired while doing so. As an example, you can climb this sheer cliff as if it's nothing, practically jumping up the cliff at running speed, but in Breath of the Wild, climbing a cliff requires stamina, and if Link doesn't have enough stamina, then he will fall. While Odyssey and Breath of the Wild are two completely different games, I still feel like Breath of the Wild tackles the feeling of an open world exploration better than Odyssey. In Odyssey, you know that heading to that mountain in the distance will be no problem at all. You don't have to worry about stamina or what the weather is like. But in Breath of the Wild, everything comes into account. Does Link have enough stamina to climb that mountain? If it starts raining, then is there another path up? Will I get cold at the top? Do I need to wear some warm clothes or build a fire? You're always asking yourself these questions while playing Breath of the Wild, and that's well thought out game design. Traversing a huge map shouldn't be easy, and giving the player something else to think about when exploring makes for a more immersive experience. Now you're probably wondering why I've been focusing more on the mechanics and game design of Breath of the Wild, rather than an outright review. The thing is, Breath of the Wild has been out for around 2 years now, and a lot of people have done some really incredible videos on how good Breath of the Wild is. Everyone knows how good it is, so there's no point reinforcing that. I just wanted to highlight how Breath of the Wild doesn't hold you back. It throws you out in the world and allows you to do things your way, something that open world games don't generally do anymore. I could talk about the different characters, the shrines, the divine beasts, and so on and so forth, but that's not what I'm trying to do with this video. So when you go play other open world games like Red Dead Redemption, Assassin's Creed, The Witcher 3 or Horizon Zero Dawn, I want you to think how much the game is holding you back from exploring the world around you, and if that's a detriment to the game or not. And if it is, do yourself a favour and go play Breath of the Wild. You won't regret it.